Threads of Ambition. Table of Contents. 1. Chapter 1. Coming Home. 2. Chapter 2. Seeds of an Empire. 3. Chapter 3. The Man Behind the Messages. 4. Chapter 4. Cracks in the Mirror. 5. Chapter 5. Threads of Truth. 6. Chapter 6. Shadows in the Light. 7. Chapter 7. Unmasking the Man. 8. Chapter 8. Across the Ocean. 9. Chapter 9. The Rise of a New Voice. 10. Chapter 10. Becoming the Story. Prelude. Some turning points arrive quietly. They look like opportunity. They sound like affection. They feel like alignment. But before the unraveling, there is always a thread, a pause in the heart, a question dismissed, an instinct gently silenced. Kunda believed ambition and love could grow side by side. She believed endurance was strength. She believed being chosen meant being valued. She did not yet know that ambition attracts both builders and deceivers. That truth rarely announces itself gently. That becoming often begins with loss. This is not just a story of betrayal. It is a story of awakening, of a woman who learns to trust herself, reclaim her voice, and weave power from pain. One thread was pulled, everything changed. Threads of Ambition. Chapter 1. Coming Home. The plane dipped through the clouds, revealing Lusaka's familiar sprawl, sun-baked rooftops, dusty roads, and the unmistakable pulse of a city that never quite slept. Kunda pressed her forehead lightly against the window, her breath fogging the glass. 5 years away. 5 years of lectures, late-night study sessions, part-time jobs, and the relentless grind of an MBA program. 5 years of imagining this moment. Home. She felt older, sharper, more certain of who she wanted to become. Yet beneath the confidence was a flutter of nerves. Returning was not just about coming back to her family. It was about stepping into the life she'd been preparing for. The life she'd promised herself. Her phone buzzed as soon as the wheels touched the runway. "We are outside. Cannot wait to see you." Kunda smiled. She could almost hear her mother's voice, warm, bustling, always halfway between a hug and a lecture. She gathered her bags, straightened her blazer, and whispered her morning affirmation under her breath. "I am becoming the woman I dream of. I am capable. I am ready." The words grounded her, as they always did. Outside, the heat wrapped around her like a blanket. Her mother rushed forward first, arms wide, followed by her younger sister Tiza, who had grown taller and more stylish in the years Kunda had been away. Her father stood behind them, dignified as always, his smile small but proud. "Look at you," her mother said, cupping her face. "MBA graduate. My goodness." "Mom, you're embarrassing her," Tiza teased, though she was already pulling Kunda into a hug. Her father took her suitcase. "Welcome home, my girl." As they drove through the city, Kunda watched the streets blur past, vendors calling out prices, buses honking impatiently, school children weaving through traffic. Lusaka was chaotic, loud, alive, and she loved it. Her parents had prepared a small welcome-home lunch, complete with her favorite dishes. Aunties and cousins filtered in and out, offering congratulations and unsolicited advice. Kunda smiled through it all, grateful but exhausted. Later, when the house finally quieted, she slipped out for a run. The sun was dipping low, painting the sky in streaks of orange and purple. Running had always been her way of clearing her mind, of sorting through the noise. As her feet hit the pavement, she thought about her plans. She wanted to build something that blended her love for Zambian culture with her business training. She had been sketching ideas for months, a fabric business but modernized. Not just selling chitenge, but curating it, branding it, elevating it. She wanted an empire, but empires did not build themselves. When she returned home, sweaty and energized, she found a message from someone she had not expected. "Welcome back to Zambia. Hope the flight was smooth." She blinked at the screen. Liam, the charming Zambian man she had met online through a business forum. He lived in the UK, worked in finance, or so he said, and had a way of speaking that made everything sound possible. They had exchanged a few messages months ago, mostly about entrepreneurship and the challenges of starting a business in Africa. She typed back, "Thank you, it feels good to be home." His reply came almost instantly. "I am sure Zambia is brighter with you back. How is the transition?" She rolled her eyes at the flirtation but could not help smiling. He was smooth. Too smooth, maybe, but he had been genuinely helpful when she had asked about funding strategies. One step at a time. I am settling in. If you need anything, advice, support, even just someone to talk to, I am here. She hesitated. She had someone to talk to. Or she used to. Her thoughts drifted to Wansa, her boyfriend of 5 years. They had met at university, built dreams together, survived exams and long-distance stretches. He had supported her, encouraged her, believed in her. And then he had cheated. Not physically, he claimed, but emotionally. With a girl he had met online, a girl he had sent late-night messages to, a girl he had told things he should have told Kunda. She had tried to forgive him, tried to understand. But something inside her had cracked, and the pieces no longer fit the same way. She typed slowly. I appreciate that. She put her phone down, refusing to overthink it. The next morning, she woke early, rolled out her yoga mat, and let her body flow through familiar poses. Yoga had become her anchor during the chaos of graduate school. Each stretch reminded her of her strength, her resilience. After breakfast, she sat at her desk and opened her notebook. She wrote her affirmations first, always first. I am building something meaningful. I attract opportunities. I trust myself. I am worthy of love and success. Then she began mapping out her business plan. Suppliers, branding, social media strategy, pricing models. She was deep in thought when her phone buzzed again. Good morning, superstar. How is the empire building going? She laughed softly. Slow but steady. Steady is good. Rome was not built in a day, but I can help you speed things up if you want. She raised an eyebrow. Speed things up? How so? Let us talk later. I have a few ideas that could change everything for you. Intriguing. Dangerous. Tempting. She closed her notebook. Life in Lusaka was already beginning to shift. She could feel it. Here we go. Chapter 2. Written with the same depth, tone, and emotional layering as Chapter 1. Settle in. This chapter begins to weave the threads of ambition, temptation, and the first shadows of trouble. Chapter 2. Seeds of an Empire. The morning sun filtered through the curtains, casting soft golden stripes across Kunda's bedroom. She stretched, feeling the familiar ache in her legs from yesterday's run. It was a good ache, the kind that reminded her she was alive, moving, becoming. She rolled out her yoga mat and began her routine. Slow breaths, controlled movements, a quiet mind. As she flowed into downward dog, she whispered her affirmations. I am disciplined, I am focused, I am building something extraordinary. By the time she finished, her body hummed with energy. She showered, dressed in a crisp white blouse and jeans, and tied her hair into a neat bun. Today was important. She was meeting her first potential supplier. Her mother watched her from the kitchen doorway, arms folded. You look like you're going to a board meeting. Kunda laughed. I might as well. First impressions matter. Her mother handed her a packed lunch. Just do not forget to eat. You get too serious sometimes. Serious builds empires, Kunda said, winking. The meeting. The supplier, Mr. Banda, owned a small but reputable textile shop in Kamwala. The shop smelled of fabric dye and dust, and bolts of chithenge were stacked from floor to ceiling in vibrant patterns. You're the MBA girl, he said, shaking her hand firmly. Your mother told me you're starting something big. I hope so, she replied. I want to create a brand that celebrates Zambian identity in a modern way. He raised an eyebrow. Ambitious. I like that. They spent an hour discussing fabrics, pricing, and sourcing. He was impressed by her clarity, her research, her vision. By the end of the meeting, he agreed to supply her first batch at a discounted rate. As she walked out of the shop, her phone buzzed. How's the empire today? She smiled despite herself. Just secured my first supplier. Look at you. I knew you would hit the ground running. Trying my best. Your best is exceptional. I can tell. Want to hop on a call later? I have something that might help you scale faster. She hesitated. Calls felt more intimate than messages, but curiosity tugged at her. Sure. Evening. Perfect. Mwansa's shadow. On her way home, she passed the cafe where she and Mwansa used to spend hours studying. The memory hit her unexpectedly. The smell of coffee, the sound of his laugh, the way he would look at her like she was the only person in the room. She swallowed hard. They had not spoken since she returned. He had sent a long message the night before her flight, apologizing again, begging for another chance. She had not replied. Her heart was not ready. Or maybe it was tired. She pushed the thought aside and focused on her business plan. She had work to do. The call. That evening after dinner, she sat at her desk and opened her laptop. Liam's call came through right on time. His voice was warm, smooth, confident. There she is, Lusaka's rising star. Please, she said, laughing. I'm just starting. That's when the magic happens, he replied. Listen, I've been thinking about your business. You have the vision, the branding sense, the discipline. What you need now is reach. Reach? Visibility. A strong online presence, a story people can connect to. I can help with that. How? I've built a few online ventures, he said vaguely. I know how to position a brand. I can help you set up your social media strategy, maybe even fund your first marketing push. She blinked. Fund? Of course. Consider it an investment in brilliance. Her stomach fluttered. No one had ever offered her financial support like that, not without strings. Liam, that's generous, but I can't accept money from someone I barely know. You're not accepting it from a stranger, he said softly. You're accepting it from someone who believes in you. The words wrapped around her like velvet. She felt seen, encouraged, valued, but she also felt cautious. I'll think about it, she said. That's all I ask. They talked for another hour, about business, about life in the UK, about her dreams. He was charming, articulate, and surprisingly attentive. He remembered intricate details she mentioned. He asked thoughtful questions. He made her feel interesting. When the call ended, she sat back in her chair, heart beating faster than she wanted to admit. The first red flag. Later that night, as she scrolled through her messages, she noticed something odd. Liam's WhatsApp profile picture had changed, from a crisp, professional headshot to a blurry photo of a church event. In the background, she thought she saw a woman standing close to him. She zoomed in, but the image pixelated. Probably nothing. She put her phone down, but the thought lingered, building momentum. Over the next week, Kunda threw herself into her work. She designed her brand logo, created sample posts for Instagram, and arranged her first photo shoot with a friend who dabbled in photography. Her days were full: meetings, planning, running, yoga, affirmations. Her nights were quieter, often punctuated by long conversations with Liam. He became a constant presence, encouraging, supportive, flirtatious in a way that made her blush but didn't feel threatening. He sent her motivational quotes. He asked about her day. He listened, and slowly she found herself opening up. About her fears, her heartbreak, her ambitions. One evening, after she told him about Mwansa's betrayal, he said gently, "You deserve someone who chooses you every day, not someone who gambles with your heart." The words hit deep. She didn't reply immediately. He added, "You're too extraordinary to settle for half love." She closed her eyes. Extraordinary. It had been a long time since someone made her feel that way. A new beginning. By the end of the month, her business, Kunda Fabrics, was ready for launch. She posted her first collection online, and within hours, orders began trickling in. Her family celebrated her small victories. Her sister helped with packaging. Her mother prayed over every parcel. Her father offered quiet advice. And Liam? He sent her a voice note. "You're unstoppable. I'm proud of you." She listened to it 3 times. Something inside her shifted. Something dangerous. Something hopeful. Absolutely. Here is chapter 3. Written with the same emotional depth, pacing, and character-driven storytelling as the earlier chapters. This is where the story begins to thicken. Success, temptation, and the first unmistakable cracks in Liam's carefully curated persona. Chapter 3. The Man Behind the Messages. Kunda's business launch had gone better than she expected. Orders trickled in steadily, and her Instagram page gained followers each day. She posted photos of vibrant chedinge fabrics draped over wooden chairs, wrapped around models, or folded neatly in baskets. Her captions were thoughtful, empowering, and infused with her personality. People loved her authenticity, but with growth came pressure, the kind that sat on her shoulders like a weight she couldn't quite shake. She wanted to scale faster, she wanted to stand out, she wanted to prove to herself, to her family, and maybe even to Mwansa that she could build something remarkable. And Liam sensed it. He always sensed it. A growing connection. One evening, after a long day of packaging orders, she received a voice note from him. "Take a break, superstar. You're allowed to rest. Even queens need sleep." She laughed softly. He had a way of making her feel seen, even from thousands of miles away. They talked almost every night now, sometimes for 10 minutes, sometimes for hours. He told her about life in the UK, the freezing weather, the long work hours, the loneliness of being far from home. He spoke with a vulnerability that surprised her. "I admire your courage," she told him once. "Moving so far away, building a life from scratch." He chuckled. "Courage or madness, I'm not sure which. But hearing your voice makes the madness worth it." Her cheeks warmed. She didn't want to admit it, but she was beginning to look forward to his messages, his calls, his attention. It felt like a balm on the wound Mwansa had left behind. Mwansa reappears. But life had a way of complicating things. One afternoon, as she was arranging fabrics for a photo shoot, her phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. "Unknown. Kunda, it's me. Please don't block me again." Her heart dropped. Mwansa. She stared at the screen, torn between anger and nostalgia. He had been her first real love, her partner through the chaos of university. The one who held her when she cried over exams, who cooked for her during finals week, who whispered dreams into her ear when she doubted herself. And yet he had betrayed her. She typed slowly. "What do you want, Mwansa?" His reply came instantly. "You. I want us. I want to fix what I broke." She closed her eyes. "You can't fix trust." "I know, but I can earn it back. Please, just talk to me." She didn't respond. Instead, she put her phone face down and focused on her work. But her mind was restless, torn, confused. That night, she didn't tell Liam about the message. She wasn't sure why. The first lie. A few days later, during one of their late-night calls, she heard something strange in the background. A woman's voice. Soft, close, familiar in a way that made her stomach tighten. She paused mid-sentence. "Is someone there with you?" There was a brief silence. Then Liam laughed lightly. "Ah, no, that's just the TV. I forgot to mute it." But the voice hadn't sounded like a TV. It had sounded like someone speaking directly to him. She didn't push it, but she didn't forget it either. A gift from afar. The next week, a package arrived at her doorstep. She wasn't expecting anything. When she opened it, she found a pair of high-quality photography lights, the kind she had mentioned wanting but couldn't afford yet. Her breath caught. There was a note inside. "For the woman who deserves the world. Keep shining, Liam." Her heart fluttered. It was thoughtful, generous, almost too generous. She called him immediately. "Liam, you didn't have to do this." "I wanted to," he said simply. "Your brand deserves the best, and so do you." She bit her lip. "I don't know how to thank you." "You already have," he replied. "Just keep being you." She felt something shift inside her. A softening, a surrender. Maybe she was falling for him. Maybe she already had. The double life begins to show. A few days later, she noticed something else strange. Liam's WhatsApp status, usually filled with motivational quotes, now showed a picture of a baby. A baby she had never seen before. She messaged him. "Cute baby, your niece?" He took almost an hour to reply. "Ah, yes, my cousin's child. I was visiting them." But the background of the photo looked like a home. His home. She recognized the couch from a video call. Her stomach tightened again. Something wasn't adding up. But every time she tried to pull away, he pulled her back with kindness, with attention, with words that felt like warm hands around her heart. A dangerous confession. One night, after a lengthy conversation about her business, he said softly, "Kunda, I need to tell you something." Her breath caught. "What is it?" "I think I'm falling for you." Her heart thudded. She didn't speak. He continued, voice low and sincere. "I know we're far apart. I know your heart has been hurt. But I feel something with you, something real." She swallowed hard. "Liam, you don't have to say anything," he whispered. "Just know that I'm here, and I'm not going anywhere." She closed her eyes. She thought of Mwansa. She thought of the woman's voice in the background. She thought of the baby photo. But she also thought of the way Liam made her feel. Seen, valued, inspired. And for the first time in months, she allowed herself to hope. Threads of ambition. Chapter 4. Cracks in the mirror. The weeks that followed were a whirlwind. Orders for Kunda fabrics doubled, then tripled. Her Instagram page buzzed with comments, shares, and reposts. Influencers began reaching out, asking for collaborations. Her brand was becoming something real, something she could touch, measure, and be proud of. But with success came exhaustion. She woke early for yoga, spent her days managing orders, and her evenings responding to customer messages. Her phone never stopped buzzing. Her mind never stopped racing. And through it all, Liam was there. A constant voice in her ear, a steady presence in her messages, sometimes too steady, sometimes too present. The unexpected deposit. One morning, as she checked her mobile banking app to track business expenses, she froze. A deposit of K10,000 had appeared in her account. No Zender name. No explanation. Her heart thudded. She called the bank. They confirmed it wasn't an error. The transfer had been made intentionally, anonymously. She didn't need to guess who it was. She messaged Liam immediately. "Did you send me money?" He replied after a few minutes. "Consider it a small push. For your business, for your dreams." She stared at the screen, torn between gratitude and discomfort. "Liam, that is too much. I cannot accept it." "You already have, and it is not too much, not for you." Her stomach tightened. "Why would you do that?" His reply came slower this time. "Because I believe in you, and because I care about you more than you realize." She exhaled shakily. This was no longer harmless flirtation. This was something deeper, something binding, something dangerous. A visit that never happens. A few days later, he told her he wanted to visit Zambia. "I miss home," he said during a late-night call, "and I want to see you, in person." Her heart fluttered. "You want to come here?" "Yes, I have been thinking about it for weeks." She smiled, imagining the moment they would meet. The warmth of his presence, the charm she'd only heard through a speaker. "When?" she asked. "Soon," he said. Very soon. But soon stretched into days, then weeks. Every time she asked, he had a new excuse. Work emergency, passport renewal delays, a sudden illness, a family issue. The excuses piled up like stones, each one heavier than the last. One night, she asked gently, "Are you sure you are okay? You seem stressed?" He sighed. "Life here is complicated, Kunda, more than you know." She waited for him to explain. He did not. The woman in the background. One evening, during a video call, she saw it again. A shadow moving behind him. A woman's silhouette. The same soft voice she had heard weeks earlier. Her pulse quickened. "Liam? Is someone there?" He shifted the camera abruptly. "No, just my neighbor. She came to borrow something." But the voice had sounded too familiar, too comfortable, too close. She did not push it, but the unease settled in her chest like a stone. Mwansa's persistence. Meanwhile, Mwansa refused to fade quietly into the background. He sent messages every few days. Long, emotional paragraphs filled with apologies, memories, and promises. "I know I hurt you. I know I broke something precious. But I'm willing to spend the rest of my life fixing it. Mwansa, you're the only woman I've ever absolutely loved. Mwansa, please don't let one mistake erase 5 years." She read every message. She replied to none. But his words stirred something inside her, a longing for the familiarity they once shared, the comfort of a love that had grown slowly, honestly, over years. Liam made her feel excited. Mwansa made her feel safe, and she didn't know which feeling she trusted more. The first real argument. One night, after a particularly stressful day, she called Liam. She needed comfort, reassurance, something steady, but he sounded distracted, irritated. "Can we talk later?" he snapped. "I'm busy." She blinked. "Oh, sorry, I did not know." "You never know," he muttered. "You always call at the wrong time." Her chest tightened. "Liam, what's going on?" "Nothing," he said sharply. "Just drop it." She swallowed hard. "I'm not trying to upset you, I said drop it." The line went silent. She stared at her phone, stunned, hurt. He had never spoken to her like that before. Minutes later, a message came through. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to snap. I'm just under a lot of pressure." "You could have told me." "I know. I'm trying. Please don't be upset." She sighed. She wanted to believe him. She wanted to understand. But something inside her whispered that this wasn't just stress. This was something else. Something he wasn't telling her. The secret revealed. Almost. A week later, during another late-night call, she heard a child crying in the background. A baby. Her heart stopped. "Wham! Whose baby is that?" He froze. For a moment, she thought he would finally tell her the truth. But then he forced a laugh. "Oh, that? My neighbor again. She drops by all the time." Her stomach twisted. He was lying. She knew it, but she didn't know why, or how deep the lies went. The turning point. One night, after a long run to clear her mind, she sat on her bed and stared at her phone. She typed, "Liam, I need to know something. Are you being honest with me about your life? About everything?" He didn't reply for 10 minutes. Then 20. Then 30. Finally, a message appeared. Kunda, there are things I haven't told you. Things I'm not proud of. Her breath caught. What things? Another long pause. I'll tell you soon, I promise. But he didn't. And for the first time, she felt fear. Not of losing him, but of discovering who he really was. Threads of Ambition. Chapter 5. Threads of Truth. The morning light crept into Kunda's room, soft and golden, but she felt none of its warmth. She lay awake long before her alarm, staring at the ceiling, replaying Liam's message from the night before. There are things I haven't told you, things I'm not proud of. The words gnawed at her. She wanted to believe he was simply overwhelmed, that life in the UK was weighing on him. But the inconsistencies were piling up. The baby's cry, the woman's voice, the sudden mood swings, the unexplained money. Her intuition whispered warnings she didn't want to hear. Still, she got up, rolled out her yoga mat, and moved through her morning routine. Yoga usually grounded her, but today her mind wandered with every pose. I trust myself. I trust my instincts. She repeated the affirmation twice, hoping it would settle the unease in her chest. It didn't. A business on the rise. Despite her emotional turmoil, her business was thriving. Her latest collection, a fusion of traditional chaitanj with minimalist modern cuts, had gone viral. Orders poured in from Lusaka, the Copperbelt, even a few from South Africa and Botswana. She hired 2 part-time assistants to help with packaging and deliveries. Her parents were proud, her sister bragged about her to friends. Her father even suggested she consider opening a small physical store in the future. But success came with new challenges. She needed better equipment, more space, a stronger marketing strategy. And every time she felt overwhelmed, Liam was there with advice. Create a story around your brand, he told her during one of their calls. People don't just buy fabric, they buy meaning. Show your process, he said another time. Let them see the woman behind the brand. He was good at this. Too good. Sometimes she wondered how he knew so much about branding and marketing when he claimed to work in finance. But she brushed the thought aside. He was helping her, supporting her, believing in her, and she needed that. A visit from the past. One afternoon, as she was sorting through new fabric samples, her phone rang. She didn't recognize the number, but she answered anyway. Hello? Kunda. Her breath caught. Moansa. She almost hung up, but something in his voice stopped her. He sounded tired, defeated. I know you don't want to talk to me, he said quietly, but please, just give me 1 minute. She closed her eyes. I don't know what you want me to say. Nothing, I just want to apologize, properly, not through messages. She didn't respond. He continued. I messed up. I know that. I hurt you. I betrayed your trust, and I hate myself for it. Her throat tightened. I'm not asking for anything, he said. Not forgiveness, not another chance. I want you to know that I'm working on myself, that I'm trying to be better, for me, and for whoever I end up with. She swallowed hard. Thank you for saying that. There was a long pause. I still love you, he whispered. She ended the call and cried, not because she wanted him back, but because she missed the version of herself she had been with him, hopeful, trusting, unbroken. Liam's sudden shift. That evening, she called Liam, hoping for comfort. He didn't answer. She tried again. Still nothing. Finally, he sent a message. Can't talk. Busy. She frowned. Is everything okay? No reply. Hours passed. She tried to distract herself with work, but her mind kept drifting back to him, to the silence, to the unanswered questions. At midnight, her phone buzzed. A voice note.